the season changed, the weather changed, you and I changed, but Yahweh says, I change not. And regardless what type of deplorable condition you're in, the Creator wants you to know that although He punished you, and although He kicked you out of your land, He let you know that He will never forsake you. He said, I am Yahweh, I change not. And then He says, therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Therefore, which means as a result of me being Yahweh, as a result of me changing not, you will never be consumed. Said, I know you disobeyed me. I know you acted a fool. I know you have sinned and done many abominable things. But return unto me, and I will return unto you. So the Creator lets us know that He changes not, but all we have to do to fall back into His loving arms and into His mercy and receive His grace is to return unto Him. Now, we don't return unto our Creator by going and worshiping someone else. That's not the way to return to Him. The first thing you must do to return to Him is know who He is. And many of us don't know who the Creator is until we find out who we are.
Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe. Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe, full tribe. Now who have believed our report? And to whom is this mighty arm revealed? We sing the Yah with skill. In the land of the north, in the valleys and hills, they flee from the instruments we playing with skill. Only for Yahweh, won't say for another. And the lions in the street that's prophesied off. Me and my brothers, we in the prison house to our arraignment. They're breaking up the fallow ground, hearts hard as pavement. This world needs a saving, but not Christ, it's all Yah. Our bones spew the fire. He has spoken all that He requires. The fear of Yah, call upon His name. He takes away the rain if we take His holy word in vain. Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe. Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe, full tribe. Before the Elohims I was sing with the dances and music upon the strings. It's 10 the order of Yahweh servant purges the word of Yahweh's gathering. It's so be quiet, a new song for the nation to sing along. The wait is long to exit right out of this Babylon. So much confusion, the heart abuses. The facts we listen to it. The reason why our sins is inducing. So now we return back to our Abba. No longer martyrs and His laws are a restarter. They take these false idols off the market. The breathe we walk into this dead carcass. The honor Yah's how these lights will sparkle. Remember, Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe. Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe, full tribe. Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe. Elohim is not a man, He will not lie. Not the son of a man, He will not die. We confirm His word, we the world's light. We praising Yahweh, we the full tribe, full tribe.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying HaleluYAH. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous, Yah is holy, and let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Creator has allowed us to come before you another day, bringing to you his great, holy, and exalted words, even the words of truth. My name is Mowreh, IshiYAH, YisraEL, of the house of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2330 Kemper Lane, bringing to you nothing but the truth. And yes, it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth, for Yah ordained me to tell you the truth, and this is what I'm going to do. And who is this Yah? Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Issac, and YisraEL, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yah is our king, he's our judge, he's our lawgiver, and Yah is our only savior. And not just of Israel, Yah is the savior of the world. And I praise Yah again for giving us this great opportunity to bring his great and holy words to you this day. This week, we will be dealing with the 7 prophetic positions that the Messiah, as many of you know, the word Messiah just means anointed, the anointed one. The word Messiah is a Greek word that means anointed one. But we already know who this anointed one is. We already know who this Messiah is. And we're going to show you who Yahweh said this anointed one is and who this Messiah is. But this Messiah is prophesied to hold 7 different titles, 7 positions. It's really one position, but it's different titles in this one position. And each one of the positions or each one of the titles is a little bit different from one to another. And we're going to deal with those 7 titles this week. Of course, the first title that we will deal with this Messiah is the title of King. King is not a name of an individual. King is not a birthright of an individual. King is a title that's given by the Most High. Whether you in the kingdom of the heathens or whether you are in the kingdom of the Most High. These titles are given by the Most High. I know a lot of people would think and have you believe that when you vote and you exercise your vote, that you are choosing. No, Yahweh is the one that made things happen. He's the ruler, and nothing happens without the Creator allowing it to go forth. And so many of your presidents, you think you chose. And little do you know, you didn't choose anyone. And even if Yahweh gave you the desires or fulfill your desires in the one that you wanted chosen, he did it for his purpose. And Yahweh don't do nothing without purpose. So the first title we will deal with is the title of a king. But so you won't be confused about who this Messiah is. It's not some Messiah that is no-named and you don't know who it is, and you're just waiting for somebody to fulfill something in order for you to say, well, that's the Messiah. No, the Creator let you know the ending from the beginning. So way in the beginning, he already let you know the ending. So that when the end comes, you won't be saying, well, I knew that. Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I said. No, you didn't know. No, you didn't think. So you had no idea. Because the thoughts of Yahweh are not your thoughts. The ways of Yahweh is not your ways. His ways and his thoughts are high above not just us, but as high as the heaven is from the earth, that's how high his ways and thoughts are from us. And let me tell you, you can't even measure how high the heavens are. You don't know where they begin, and you definitely don't know where they end. But let me show you the name of this anointed one, whom Yahweh prophesied will be king. You'll find this in the book of Psalms 89. We're going to turn there. Over the weekend, this past Shabbat, we dealt with how can you even tell this future Messiah? And we pointed out there's only one sign the Creator gave us. And that's through the Spirit. You must know the Spirit of this one. Because once you know the Spirit, then, because the type of spirit he will have is one like the ELohims. But if you don't know what an Elohimly spirit look like, you don't know how it's translated into real life, then you'll be looking for somebody that turn grape juice into wine. You will be looking for somebody to turn one fish into 1,000 fish. Some type of magician. We're not talking about a magician at all. We're talking about some real live things. So you got to know the Spirit. And then once you know the Spirit, then you look for the works that this Spirit is able and capable of doing. And I can assure you, the things that this Spirit is able and capable of doing, nobody else is doing it anyway. They're not doing it anyway because the Creator don't want you confused about who the Messiah is. He didn't make the Messiah like everybody else, so you can be confused and say, oh, well, it could be so-and-so, it could be this person, it could be that person, it could be that person, it could. No. Just like all the Creator elected ones, he made them different. He sent them with various signs to show the people that when the people see, they won't be confused. Even though a lot of our people confused today, and they only confused because they don't know what they really looking for. In the book of Psalms 89, got one of our new readers who's going to read for me, and I praise the mighty Yah for him because I didn't ask him to read. I didn't coach him to read. I didn't suggest that he read. But this is from his own free will. So I praise the mighty Yah for my beloved brother Micaiah and we're going to read Psalm 89, and we're going to start reading at the 19th verse.
Psalms 89, verse 19. Then thou spakest in the vision to thy Holy One, and saidst, I have laid help upon one that is mighty.
Yeah, he laid help upon one that is mighty, just one. 0 or O-N-E, one. One that is mighty. Go ahead.
I have exalted one chosen out of the people.
Just one chosen out of the people, not two, not three, not four, but just one chosen, one mighty, one chosen.
I have found David, my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him.
Yeah, I have found David, my servant. And with my holy oil have I anointed him. In other words, with my holy oil, he became Messiah. The Messiah. Because that's all the word Messiah means. Yahweh had a lot of people anointed. The priests are anointed. The princes are anointed. The kings are anointed. The prophets are anointed. But Yahweh in the book of Psalms 89 let us know that he only chosen one out of the people. He's only found one that is mighty. And he found a man named David, which is called his servant. And with him, he was anointed with Yahweh's holy oil. Watch what it says.
With whom my hand shall be established, my arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. And I will beat down his foes before his face, and plague them that hate him.
And there's a lot of people that hate David. You can tell when they hate David because they talk about him like a dog. They talked about him in the past. They talked about him when he was living, and they talking about him today. It ain't no David. He's an adulterer. He's a murderer. It ain't no David. David this and David that. They talk about him like a dog. Like they talk about a lot of the other prophets of Yahweh. Watch this. Continue reading.
But my faithfulness and my mercy shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted.
In my name shall his horn be exalted. Watch what Yahweh say about this David.
I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers.
In other words, he's going to have world rulership. When your hand is in the sea and your hand is in the rivers, in other words, wherever the rivers go, wherever the sea go, that's going to be his rulership. All over. Go ahead.
He shall cry unto me, thou art my father, my Elohim, and the rock of my salvation.
And that's all David cried to in the past, and that's all David will cry to in the future.
Also, I will make him my firstborn.
My firstborn.
Higher than the kings of the earth.
In other words, there will be no king higher than him. Even when he was on earth, there was no king higher than him. And in the future, there will not be a king higher than him. And we're going to see, and we're going to show you that the type of king he was in the past will be a little bit different than the king he will be in the future. So if you're looking for the same person, then you're going to miss out on this spirit because he's going to be different. Watch what it says.
My mercy will I keep for him forevermore, and my covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of heaven.
His throne like the days of who? There is no other person that has a throne that's named after him. Matter of fact, most of the kings of the earth, if not all of them, they all came, and soon as they left, and they left the throne became somebody else's name. But not so with David. It was still the throne of David, as it is today. It was still the throne of David. Period. You never heard about a throne of Christ. Not one time. There's no thrones named after Christ. Haile Selassie, Melchizedek, or any of these people that a lot of people want to worship, believe in, and follow. The only one got a throne named after them is Yahweh and David. Watch what it says.
Verse 30. If his children forsake my law and walk not in my judgments, if they break my statutes and keep not my commandments, then would I visit their transgression with the rod and their iniquity with stripes. Nevertheless, my loving kindness will not utterly take from him, nor suffer my faithfulness to fail. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips. Once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David. His seed shall endure forever.
How long his seed shall endure forever, and watch with his throne.
And his throne as the sun before me.
And the sun ain't going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. It shall be established forever as the moon and as a faithful witness in heaven. And that's what you need to know about the Messiah. His name is David. The only one that Yahweh said he laid help on. The only one Yahweh said he was anointed with his holy oil. And the only one Yahweh said that it was mighty and chosen by him above all others. And yes, it is true that it is prophesied that he will return. But return as what? And as I stated before, 7 different titles. But one of the first titles, one of the main titles that he will return to take hold of is king. And you need to know why. And let me show you this, but watch what it said about this king so you can understand why this prophecy must be fulfilled. And you won't see it fulfilled unless you know what to look for. In other words, just because this thing is being fulfilled, it don't mean you will see it. It don't mean you will understand it, because at the end of the day, our people's eyes are closed today. They can't even tell you who is one of Yahweh's prophets today. So how in the world can they tell you who David is? They can't tell you who a prophet is. For some strange reason, they can tell you a false prophet, but they can't tell you one of Yahweh's prophets. So if you can't tell who a prophet is, we know you can't tell who David is. But watch this about this David in the book Hosea, the 3rd chapter. Because as we said over the Sabbath day, if you don't know how to judge the very spirits that's before you, then you will never know this person. Because you never met this person. You never seen this person. The only way you'll know this person, Hosea the 3rd chapter, it's just like somebody you ain't never met, you ain't never seen, and all somebody did was give you a description of them and told you, yeah, when you get to Riverfront Stadium, there's a person, he's going to have on a bright yellow coat, he's going to have on a wooden hat, he's going to have a copper cane. In other words, they're giving you descriptions of who to look for so you can eliminate everybody else so you can find who you're looking for. And so you never seen this person. You don't know this person. All you have is a description. Here, Yahweh will give us a description of a king, and people still confused. He said, this is what this king is going to do. This is what this king going to be responsible for. This is what this king going to bring forth. This is how this king going to do this and do that. And then we want to know, well, who's the king? Well, all you got to do is look at the description of the king. And then you should be able to know who you're looking for. But after I give you the description, and then you still guessing, now I can see if you got to the stadium and you seen all the people and said, man, there was nobody that had on a yellow coat with a copper cane and a wooden hat. Then, I can say, well, he didn't show up. Or maybe you left too early. You should have waited till everybody was gone. Or maybe you did, and you still didn't see nobody. But at the end of the day, you have the description. Even if you got to come back the next day, and the next day, and the next day, you have the description. And you're not just going to stop anybody and everybody and say, look, man, are you the Messiah? No. You got the description. Watch this. Hosea 3, starting at the 4th verse.
Hosea 3, 4th verse. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king.
They're going to, and see, that's the first thing you got to acknowledge. The children of Israel will abide many days without a king. And you're going to see how important it is to have a king. See, Yahweh is our king, but our people don't, out of sight, out of mind. See, they don't see Yahweh every day going in and out before them. So they have no respect for his kingdom. They have no honor for the judgments that he will bring, because they think they're getting away with something. Or he obviously don't see them. Or maybe he don't hear them. So they don't see him. But with a man, they know what. Anybody can tell this man that I was such and such and such, and I did this and I did that, and this man gonna summon me to do this, that, and the other. But let's look at this king. For the children of Israel shall dwell many days. That's talking about many years, many decades, even centuries, without a king. That's the very first thing that is on the table. That's the first title that we're talking about. Go ahead.
And without a prince.
And then it says without a prince. We're not going to have a prince either.
And without a sacrifice.
And without any type of sacrifice whatsoever.
And without an image.
And there won't be an image to let you know that's Israel.
And
no type of image at all. Even though they say Deuteronomy 28, that's how we know. Those are just signs. But what is our image? Where is our flag? Where is our totem pole? Where is something that let us know that we are a nation of people just like all the other nations on the earth? There is no image. Go ahead.
And without an ephod.
Without an ephod, some type of priestly vesture.
And without a teraphim.
A family item that you had to let you know we're one family. There's nothing to denote us as a people to this day. Go ahead.
Afterward shall
Now,
the children.
Afterwards, after we abide all these days and years and centuries and decades without these things, afterwards shall
the children of Israel return and seek Yahweh, their Elohim, and David, their king.
See, here it is. Yahweh he's not like these other books. His book is different. Yahweh names his Messiah. He said, we're going to see Yahweh, our Elohim, and David, our king.
And shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days.
In the last days. In the last days, we're going to fear Yahweh. In the last days, we're going to seek Yahweh. In the last days, we're going to seek his goodness. And David, our king. And it is true. This David must show and reveal himself. But he's not going to show and reveal himself through words. He will reveal himself through action. Because action speaks louder than words. When Moses went to reveal himself, he brought signs. He didn't bring a bunch of talk. He brought signs to show the elders. And Yahweh said, well, if they don't believe this sign, do this. And if they don't believe that sign, do that. And they going to believe this sign if you do this. In other words, he had something to show the people so that the people could ultimately believe and follow him. Because to follow him was to follow the Most High. Because he had a lot of works to do. That was part of his works, to get the people to believe what he came to do. Even after he showed them, soon as they got tested, they stopped believing. Oh, Moses, you just brought us trouble. Oh, Moses, you just made our work harder. Because it's one thing you can believe when there's nobody contesting you at all. But then once people begin to contest, he's what? Well, can he do this? Can he do that? Well, answer this and answer that. Now that you're being contested, now what you going to show the people? What you going to do to get them to believe? And Yahweh knew that, and he prepared Moses for that mission. So here, during the time of Hosea knew David was dead many years. And he prophesied about this David, prophesied that he would be king, even in the last days, and that we will seek him. And not only Hosea prophesied this thing, so did Ezekiel. And turn to the book of Ezekiel. And we already seen that this is the one that Yahweh said will be his anointed one. In other words, his Messiah. And Yahweh only laid help on one. He only made one mighty. And he only chosen one. So all we need to do is look for one that will show his works. In the book of Ezekiel 37, and the words that we're talking about right now is king. It says in the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and we're going to read the 21st verse.
Ezekiel 37, verse 21. And say unto them, thus saith Yahweh thy Elohim, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen.
And listen, we're among the heathen. So you know there's got to be some time to come. I'm saying this is future us. Because we are the ones that are among the heathen. We are. He said he's going to take us from among the heathen. Go ahead.
Whither they be going.
Wherever we at. No matter South America, North America, the East, the West, whatever. He's going to take us from the heathen wherever we be gone.
And will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land.
And we're the only people that's out of our land through the act of captivity.
And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all.
Just one king. So don't let these brothers who believe in this this Yahshua or Yahshua or Yeshua or Yehoshua or JC, whoever they call him, trick you, make you believe, yeah, David's going to be there, but so is Christ. They just play some voodoo tricks with you to make you believe that someone else is going to be there other than David. But Yahweh said there's only going to be one king. And you're going to see not just one king. Once we go through the 7 different titles that he will hold, only one person going to have that title. It's not going to be 2 kings. It's only going to be one king, according to Yahweh. One king shall be king to them all.
And they shall be no more 2 nations, neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms any more at all.
No more 2 kingdoms. Go ahead.
Neither shall they defile themselves any more with the idols, nor with the detestable things, nor with any of the transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their Elohim.
Yeah, we're going to be his people. He's going to be our Elohim. Watch what it says, the 24th verse.
And David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them.
Yeah, just one king whatsoever, and his name is David, Yahweh's servant. And there's many things that this servant, David, must do. As a matter of fact, the most important thing about a king, the reason why Yahweh will have a king, is for one thing and one thing only. And it's the same thing he will do because he is a king. So he's not going to have his earthly king do anything different than he himself would do. And as king, certain things must be established. And let me show you what must be established. And once it's established, who you think going to establish it? You think he's going to establish these things without his king? No. Yahweh's king had to put in work, just like everybody else. As a matter of fact, Yahweh's king had to put in most of the work. And let me show you, according to prophecy, what this king must establish in the book of Isaiah. We know his name. Now let's look at his works. Isaiah, the 9th chapter. Oh, not the 9th chapter. Yeah. And I want you to start reading at the 6th verse. And I'm going to show you what this king must establish.
Isaiah 9 verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
In other words, these are things he will be called. These are not the various titles that will describe his work. These are the things he will be called, and these are things that are a description of his nature.
Of the increase of his government.
Now it's talking about his government. Of the increase of his government, it ain't even told you who his government is yet, but it will. Watch what it says. Of the increase of his government.
And peace, there should be no end. Upon the throne of David.
Upon the throne of David. I told you, he is the only one that got a throne named after him, other than Yahweh. Go ahead.
And upon his kingdom.
Now watch what it says. And upon His kingdom. Who kingdom? David. The throne is named after him. Yahweh said, I only lay help on one that is mighty, one chosen out of the people, one to help, and I anointed him with my oil. Watch what it says.
To order it.
To order it.
And to establish it.
To establish it.
With judgment.
See, this kingdom must be established with judgment. Go ahead.
And with justice from
and
henceforth.
with righteousness, because that's what justice is. With righteousness, go ahead.
From henceforth, even forever.
From henceforth, even forever. Because there is no judgment, there is no justice on earth without this kingdom. And there is no kingdom on this earth that would establish this without a king. So you must have a king. He must have a kingdom. And then he can establish the very thing that Yahweh sent him to do. And that is to establish this kingdom with judgment and with justice. And this justice is righteousness. So I know you all been watching the George Floyd trial. We got the verdict in. They made him guilty on all counts. And it appears that justice was served. Well, how is justice served when just not long ago, not even weeks ago, they had somebody that they wouldn't even bring charges against because they said it was no justice. They couldn't find nothing. Breonna Taylor, woman in Louisville, happened to be sleeping in her bed. And let me tell you who they made responsible for her death. Even though the police killed her, guess who was responsible for her death? Nobody. Nobody was. And they think they can trick you and slick you by changing some laws. Well, how's that going to help Breonna? Where's the justice for her? What about this Freddie Gray, who was in the back of the van handcuffed? Everybody seen him get put in the police van. But by the time the police van, before the police van can even get to its destination, it done stopped around the corner in Baltimore, and Freddie Gray is dead. How did he die in just the back of the van? Who killed him? He handcuffed. How he gonna kill himself? He handcuffed in the back of the van, police van, not his own van. Where's the justice for him? And people crying and celebrating, and that's like you losing 1,000-0, and you start celebrating because you score one run. Now there's 1,000-1. Well, who's celebrating because you didn't score one run? You're still down 999 runs. That's not how you celebrate a victory. There's no victory. That's not justice at all. True justice haven't came to our people yet. But it will. It will come. But it has to be somebody who's going to establish this justice, this judgment. Watch what the scriptures say about whom Yahweh said would do this thing. Well, he already showed you in the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter, the 6th and 7th verse, that David would do this. But watch what it says in Isaiah 42. Because even if there was justice in America, well, what about England? What about Africa? And it's over 50 countries in Africa, over 50 states in America. Even if you had justice in one state, what about the other states? Just because you have one situation, that don't mean there's justice and justice was done. That's not how you measure justice at all. This is how you measure justice. Watch what this says about the judgment and the justice of Yahweh. Isaiah 42:1.
Behold, my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth.
Now, whoever this is, whoever this servant is, Yahweh upholds, Yahweh elect, and Yahweh's soul delights.
I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgments to the Gentiles.
In other words, Yahweh's spirit is put upon him for what reason? It's not put upon him for no reason at all. It's put upon him to bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles? The various nations that must be judged. This somebody got to do some work. We should be looking for a certain type of spirit. What spirit? The spirit of Yahweh that will rest upon this individual called David. Watch what it says. Go
He
ahead.
shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street.
As we seen today, we seen Al Sharpton and everybody else crying. Crying for what? Lifting up their voice for what? Causing their voice to be heard in the street for what? That's not justice what the courts is doing. They not even capable of rendering any type of justice. And the people who are on the streets know this. They know it's a systematic, racist system. They know it. They'll tell you that. But then in the end, they'll close your eyes with smoke and mirrors and tell you what, this was justice. And there's no justice at all. Watch what it says, third verse.
A bruised reed shall he not break.
He's not going to break anything at all. Go ahead.
And a smoking flax shall he not quench.
In other words, he's not out there trying to do no good, no bad. And all he's doing is what Yahweh sent him to do. Go ahead.
He shall bring forth judgment unto truth.
He's going to bring forth judgment unto truth. Because, see, judgment is not something that rests in one place and one place only without affecting the whole entire earth. Yes, judgment is going to rest in Jerusalem. But I'm saying that rest will impact the whole earth. And the earth is not impacted by judgment or justice that must be brought by the one that Yahweh said his soul delights in. Go ahead.
He should not fail nor be discouraged.
He's not going to fail, and he's not going to be discouraged by what he got to do.
Till he have set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law.
And that's what a king do. See, a king is about judgment. The throne is about judgment. It's about judgment. And let me show you that it's about judgment. Go to the book of Proverbs, just so you can see this. That's why this king is so important, because you can understand why you would even have a king. Why a king first? Why that title is so essential. In the book of Proverbs 20, watch what this says. the 8th verse.
A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes.
Yeah, in other words, a king that sits in the throne of judgment, that's what the throne is, the throne of David. Yahweh's throne is all about judgment. But when the right person is sitting there, he scatters away how many evils? All evil. Just with his eyes. Let alone with the judgment that needs to go forth. Just with his eyes. Watch what it says in the book of Proverbs 16. Talking about the future king. The first title that we're dealing with that he will hold. In the book of Proverbs 16, it says in the 12th verse,
it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness.
It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness.
For the throne is established by righteousness.
See, that's why he got to bring judgment and justice back to the earth, because it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. For the throne itself is established by righteousness. By righteousness. This is critical work for a king. And we already know who the king is. So now all we got to do is start looking for the work. But people don't even want to look. They don't want to see the work for real. They tell you they want to see the work, but they really don't want to see the work. In the book of Proverbs 25, go there. And read the 5th verse.
Take away the wicked from before the king.
Take away the wicked from before the king.
And his throne shall be established in righteousness.
Yeah, in other words, the king can't have no wickedness around him. None. Because you take away the wicked, watch how the throne flourish. And matter of fact, a righteous king is not going to have wickedness around him. He just won't. He won't endure it. He won't like it. He will hate it. And he will get it away. Even just with his eyes alone. Eyes alone. A king is essential. Even Moses. See, when Moses came to deliver the people, most people know him as a prophet. He was one of the greatest prophets, according to the scriptures, that ever lived. But watch what else was said about this Moses in the book of Deuteronomy 33. And start at the very first verse.
And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of Elohim, blessed the children of Israel before his death.
This is his blessing before when he was among the children of Israel before he died. This is how he blessed them.
And he said, Yahweh came from Sinai and rose up from Seir. Unto them he shined forth from the mount Paran, and came with 10,000s of saints from his right hand with a fiery law for them.
With a fiery law. And he came with thousands of his saints, talking about his angels.
Yeah, he loved the people.
Yeah, he loved the people.
All his saints are in the hand.
Because he don't just have heavenly saints, he have earthly saints also. But they all are in his hand.
And they sat down at thy feet.
And they sat down at your feet.
Everyone shall receive of thy words.
And everyone shall receive of your words, not just in heaven, but also in the earth. And watch this 4th verse.
Moses commanded us a law.
And he commanded us a law.
Even the inheritance of the congregation of Yaakov.
In other words, our inheritance, we think our inheritance is the land. the true inheritance of our people is the word of Yahweh. The word of Yahweh. And look what it says about this Moses in the 5th verse.
And he was king in Yeshurun.
Talking about Moses, and he was king in Yeshurun.
When the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered.
When they was gathered together, you know who was king? Moses. He was king. Even though he wasn't anointed to be king, he was king. Even though that wasn't a title that Yahweh put on him, but according to the scriptures, he was king when the tribes was gathered together. And why was he king? Well, who you think brought judgment to the people? Who you think brought righteousness and justice to the people? Who do you think brought the law unto the people? Wasn't it Moses? Yes, it was Moses. Who you think anointed all the priests and brought them forth? Moses. King in Jefferson. And you know what Jefferson means, right? That's just a poetic saying that means darling. It's just a poetic term of endearment. Because that's how Yahweh see his people. And Moses was king to these beautiful people. Because we got to have a king. Judgment must be brought forth. Justice must be brought forth. And the only one that can do such a thing is a king. Like Moses. Like David is prophesied to actually do. Why? Because the throne of a king is only and exclusively established by judgment and by justice. That's how it's established. Again, in the book of Proverbs, just 2 more scriptures before we adjourn. And we're going to be dealing with these 7 titles, because this is one. And you're going to see one name on all these titles. Just one name. Not 2, not 3, not 4. Yahweh gave you 7 different spirits as a description. Gave you 7 different titles as a description. Yahweh even called this man, if I'm not mistaken, 7 different things as a description. And I'm going to go back and count them. You count them too. What he's called. What is prophesied that he will be called. Other than David. And how many more descriptive things do you need to know before you go out to look for who you need to look for? Where I say go, Proverbs what? Proverbs is either going to be 28 or 29. Let's see. Yeah, Proverbs 28. 29, I mean. And I want you to read, Proverbs 29, verse 14.
Verse 14. The king that faithfully judges the poor.
It says the king that faithfully judges the poor.
His throne shall be established forever.
So you understand how important the poor is now. Because if you faithfully judges the poor, in other words, you out there every day working on the behalf of the poor, you always, how how the least of us doing. Because if the least of us doing good, you already know the greatest of us is doing all right. Because the least of us are doing good. That's why the scripture said the king that faithfully judges the poor, his throne shall be established forever. Because we need a king that's going to judge with judgment as well as justice. In the last scripture, in the book of Isaiah 49, or do I have a little bit more time? Huh? Isaiah 49. Only got a couple scriptures, that's it. I think the point is made. But Isaiah 49. And this is what it says in Isaiah 49. Another prophecy. And this is what it says in the 4th verse.
Then I said, I have labored in vain.
This is what the prophet said. I said, I've labored in vain. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but all my labor that I was doing was in vain. I did this, I did that. Go ahead.
I have spent my strength for naught.
This is a prophet. And he said, I spent my strength for nothing. It was about me. It was about this. It was about that, but it was for nothing.
And in vain.
And it was really in vain because it didn't help nobody. It helped me, but it didn't help nobody. Go ahead.
Yet surely my judgment is with Yahweh.
See, surely my judgment is a fact. It's a surety. It's a truth that my judgment is with Yahweh.
And my work with my Elohim.
See, if you're not doing the work of the Most, I don't care what debate you have. I don't care what argument you have. I don't care what you don't believe in. I don't care what the heathens are doing. Because a lot of people are scared of the heathen. They scared of our enemies. Oh, man, the enemy going to get me. The enemy this, the enemy that. All I want to know is, are you laboring in vain? Or are you laboring in Yahweh? Because if your work is with Yahweh, your work is with your Elohim, then what do you have to fear? You had nothing to fear whatsoever. And don't think they won't come against you. Sure, they'll come against you. But what you're fearing for? Because your work is with Elohim. And if your work is not with Elohim, should not your work be with Elohim? Should not your judgment be with Yahweh? Who else going to judge you? If you allow others to judge you and tell you this and that, I understand why you fear, because typically it's not going to be something good. They see you as a man. They see you as a woman. They see your flaws. They see all the things that your Elohim, he's not going to even mention to you. You know why Yahweh ain't going to mention to you these various flaws? He know you know them, and he know them. So even if he mentioned them to you, what you going to do, lie about them? He know them. So why mention them to you? But what he going to do, he's going to judge you. Why? Because he's a king. And the king he sits in the throne of judgment. He sits in the throne of judgment. So you got to know your judgment is with Yahweh. But if your work is not with him, everything you're doing is in vain. I don't care how you rationalize it. I don't care how you fix it up, dress it up. It's in vain. You can debate about it. You can argue about it. You can make it important to you, but it's in vain. And I only can pray that you will come to the undeniable truth that the prophet came to, and that he realized he labored in vain. He realized he spent his strength for nothing and in vain. And then he turned his work to Yahweh. But again, the king of Israel would already know this, that he must work. And Yahweh will provide. He know what he got to do. Now Yahweh just must, all Yahweh do is provide you the resources, the vehicle, the power to get it done. That's all. This not even, it's a wonder. It is a miracle, but it's not rocket science by no stretch of the imagination. None at all. Our future king. Title number 1, the king. The one who Yahweh has elected, chosen for the purpose of bringing this judgment, this justice back to the earth, to the Gentiles, and to his people, and to the earth. Not in Ohio, not in Georgia, but every state, every country, every nation, every land, judgment and righteousness must go forth. And it's not going to happen until Yahweh bring forth this king who will labor and work for him. So until tomorrow, when we deal with title number 2, Yahweh love you, and so do I. Shalom.
Yahweh is a great king. Above all. Above all. Yahweh is ELohim. Above all. Above all. I didn't have anything when I heard Yah. I wanted to be a famous king of the rap game. I thought I was the Tupac of my time, but my spirit was on a different state of mind. Yah name was running through my blood. I couldn't shake the vibes. All I saw was the Most High. Broke my wrists and I couldn't write. Wasn't what I needed. I had the book of Yah and began to read it. How amazed was I when I saw the true history and the heathen's deeds. I asked Yah, what is my mission? His word came to me. Said, lift him up above all. Exalt his name above all. Magnify his word above all. Cause his word the truth above all. So I sit on Zion's walls and proclaim Yah to the world. Cause he reign above all. Yahweh is a great king. Above all. Above all. Yahweh is ELohim. Above all. Above all. Yo, Yahweh is my king above all. To him will I sing above all. To Yah be the glory above all. Yah told my story above all. Yah chose YisraEL above all. David is his firstborn above all. JC was never above all. Past is only about that money above all. This year Yah held me up above all. Blessings overflow my cup above all. Yah spirit
spirit got my steps above all. Yah's law is a light above all. Yah's throne sits in heaven above all. Yah's ways is forever above all.